What's good, Internet? My name is attackslug, and welcome to my Monday Night Raw reactions for the week of July the 18th, 2016. The draft is today on SmackDown, you guys. Holy shit. As always, let me know what you thought down in the comments below, and I will get to this particular episode of Monday Night Raw. So, we start off with Stephanie and Shane coming into the ring because they're going to announce who their general manager picks are. And my first thing here, and this has kind of been ongoing for a little bit, my first real issue here is that there's nobody at this point who is going to tell Stephanie or Shane that they need a fucking script because their improv is terrible. It's terrible. Steph always has to get the last word. There was a thing in here about testicles and lady balls. It was just like, look, give them a better script, or give them a script, period, because they're just kind of going off improv, and there are a lot of wrestlers over the years who just need bullet points. Give Shane and Steph more than bullet points, because it's just mind-numbingly terrible. Anyway, we get some of the draft rules here, in terms of how it's going to work, which is going to be 3 picks for Raw for every 2 picks for SmackDown. There are going to be 6 NXT draft picks. All kinds of cool stuff here. I think the most important thing in this whole segment is that they're going to be establishing a cruiserweight division on Raw, and that really kind of harkens back to perhaps the heydays of Nitro, where that first hour of Nitro used to be cruiserweights. And that was always, you know, some of the best matches of all time were in that first hour of Nitro back in the day. Anyway, Shane McMahon, super sweaty. Don't know why. We get to our first announcement here, which is the GM of Raw, and shockingly enough, it's Mick Foley. So, how long is that going to last? Certainly, he has the experience. He was a commissioner a long time ago, and so now he's going to be the GM of Raw. It's interesting they went with face GMs for both Raw and SmackDown, when you have, obviously, a face commissioner in Shane and a heel commissioner in Stephanie, but perhaps their roles are going to get reduced for that stuff. Anyway, as was accidentally leaked out last week, the GM of SmackDown is Daniel Bryan. This crowd went absolutely batshit insane for Daniel Bryan. And my own personal conspiracy theory here is that because WWE doctors would not clear Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan is still under contract. Now, if you recall, a couple years back, Rey Mysterio wanted to leave and do other things and other wrestling that was not WWE, but he was still under contract and he kept getting hurt, so they kept adding on to his contract and he couldn't get out of it. So he came back, worked the rest of his dates, and then went to go work down in Mexico and whatever else. So my conspiracy theory is that because Daniel Bryan is under contract and can't wrestle anywhere else while he is still under contract, if he does this GM stint for, like, you know, a year or whatever, finishes out his contract, that dude wants to wrestle so bad. So, he might just end up doing that in a couple of years. Anyway, this whole thing kind of went on for a long time, and it kind of was what it was. After that, they're doing a thing now that instead of having the usual, like, raw social media facts, they're having superstar facts, and I like that a lot. That kind of gives you a little bit of insight into guys who might not be getting enough TV time, you know, on a particular episode of any show. So, thumbs up on that, although the first one was fucking Baron Corbin, and kind of who cares. Anyway, we get into our first tag match of the evening, of many tag matches of the evening. It is Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn and Cesaro. This was a fun match. I'm going to be sad if they end up having Owens and Jericho on different shows. I think they are hilarious together, and that'd be a damn shame if that never happens again. Because obviously, the current word is that Chris Jericho is going to be here until the end of the year, and then go do more stuff with his music and his band next year. But yeah, Zayn and Cesaro win this one. It was a fun match with some good spots, and I enjoyed it. So, over the course of this episode, there were a bunch of backstage segments. You saw the Golden Truth. You saw Jack Swagger and Titus O'Neil. There was some stuff backstage with Steph and Daniel Bryan, where Daniel Bryan kind of compared himself to the new Ghostbusters. That's not really... Like, I don't really have an opinion on that movie. I haven't seen it. but given the general tenor of the discussion around the new Ghostbusters, perhaps don't compare yourself to that new Ghostbusters movie. Seriously, it's not... I mean, you know, marketing, but still, that seems like a bad idea. Anyway, next match on the card was Alberto Del Rio versus Darren Young in a singles match with The Miz on commentary. This match ended up with a roll-up distraction because of The Miz getting involved, because obviously The Miz is fighting Darren Young for the IC belt at Battleground this Sunday. And so, once again, Darren Young is made great again and gets a win, an unlikely win, over a former multiple-time world champion in Alberto Del Rio. So I don't know where they're going with this whole Darren Young thing, but again, as I say every week, please have him do the cross-faced chicken wing and lose his goddamn mind like Bob Backlund used to. That's all I want. It's the only thing I want. I hope they do it this Sunday. Anyway, moving on to another tag team match. Playa, holla holla. We have... Now, let me get down to this. This is a 12-man tag team match. And I'll get to the pre-match stuff in a second here. It is John Cena, Enzo, Cass, and The New Day versus The Club and the Wyatts. That's insane. Hey, didn't that happen on Raw? Alright. This is a 12-man tag team match, and the match, the pre-match promos lasted way longer than this match did, I think. I'm not even sure anymore. This whole thing, it was like a big chunk of the show. It felt like an hour. It might have been. So, out comes John Cena. He cuts his little promo. Out comes Enzo and Cass. They started doing their stuff on promo. I appreciate Enzo making a Times New Roman font joke, because that is like the nerdiest shit ever. I appreciate old man John Cena not being hip to what these new era guys are doing with the how you doing. Like, that was amusing. Out comes The New Day to cut their promo stuff. They're super over. Perhaps a little bit of character building here, perhaps, in that you might notice this week, after everything that happened between The New Day and the Wyatts, is that now Xavier Woods got a little bit of a beard going on, and as we know from the classic Star Trek episode, when you get that little beard going on, perhaps you're teasing a heel turn, aren't you, Xavier? And then we get your Pokemon Go reference for the week, because obviously that's the biggest thing in the goddamn world right now, so you're gonna have a Pokemon Go reference. I can assure you, Vince McMahon has no goddamn idea, regardless of what you might see on his Twitter, he has no goddamn idea what the hell Pokemon Go is. Anyway, oh, the dirty pin, Seth Rollins, dirty pin, Ref doesn't see it. Ref didn't see it. Ref didn't see it, it didn't happen. And your new world champion, we'll get to that in a minute, Seth freaking Rollins. Yeah. Anyhow, we get into a match here with these 12 men. Man, Teddy Long must be so fucking happy. This 12-man tag team match. And, you know, it had some good stuff in it. It kind of went on for a bit long, but obviously there's 12 guys. They all got to kind of get their spots in. I think the one thing that made Vince the happiest was having Braun Strowman and Big Cass face-to-face. He's like, yeah, they're huge. Yeah, it's great. So that was a thing. The end of the match, though, didn't like the ending. There was some misdirection with AJ Styles and Enzo, where Enzo was going to go hit AJ and accidentally hit John Cena, and then got hit with the Styles Clash and lost the match. But the more important question was, why the fuck was John Cena in the ring here? Like, Enzo and AJ were legal, so why did he just wander into the ring to accidentally get hit? Like, that shit made no goddamn sense in the world, and, like, it just looked bad, because it took them too long to get there. It wasn't like he was running in to save him. He was just kind of standing there, and then gets hit. Like, that was real dumb. Anyway, so the Club and the Wyatts win this match, and man, when is Luke Harper coming back? Because I am just kind of tired of Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman. So, come on. Luke Harper was the talent there, outside of Bray Wyatt. Anyway, we get an empty arena promo from Seth Rollins about the Triple Threat on Sunday, and everyone and their mother made a TNA arena joke here, so there's that part of it. So, that was a thing. Anyway, we move on to Baron Corbin versus Sin Cara. Now, they let us know up front here that the Lucha Dragons are splitting up to be on, to not get drafted as a tag team. As of right now, tag teams get drafted as a unit unless a GM wants to split them up. So, they're already saying, no, don't draft the Lucha Dragons, just do it separate. And one might have to think that maybe they want Kalisto to be kind of the head of their Cruiserweight division on Raw. Just putting that out there. Anyway, this was pretty much a simple squash match with Baron Corbin squashing the crap out of Sin Cara, and then continues to beat on him until his little buddy Kalisto comes to help him out, even though they're not a tag team, but they're still friends. So that's kind of important, I guess. Then they show us a fucking trailer for the home video release of Batman vs. Superman. I don't know why. Then it's time for another tag team match, playa. It is Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch versus Charlotte and Dana Brooke. Because, you know, obviously we're not going to have Becky as her mystery tag team partner this Sunday at Battleground. So, I'm curious to see who it's going to be. Certainly it's not going to be Yokozuna, because that was always back in the day. Oh, mystery partner? Yokozuna. Rest in peace. But, anyway, this match was kind of whatever, and it ended because Natalya came in to attack Becky Lynch, and they got disqualified. It was a beatdown, and that was kind of what that was. And it's kind of, you know, whatever. But hopefully they'll give them, you know, plenty of time this Sunday, and we'll have a cool tag match, and perhaps they'll call up Bayley on the draft. They haven't really said, they haven't really said if they're going to be two women's divisions. I don't think you have enough women to have two divisions on each show. So, which show are you going to have the women on? It's going to be Raw or SmackDown? Who knows? Anyway, moving on to an Ambrose promo with the old Shield promos with the fucking camera. Now, look. Those old Shield promos, I'm pretty sure, weren't running at a frame rate of like 15 frames a second. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look at them. But I've never understood having your promo look like an old or kind of broken camera when everyone and their goddamn grandmother has a cell phone with a nice-ass camera in it that doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no reason for it to look shitty. But so this whole thing with him, like, it just had a super low frame rate and looked shitty. So, was what it was. I don't know. He's Dean Ambrose. He's a lunatic, you know? I guess that's part of his shtick. Anyway, out comes Lana wearing camouflage because I don't know. And we get another tag team match, playa. Holla holla. It is Rusev and Sheamus, the remnants of the League of Nations, still, versus Dolph Ziggler and Zack Ryder. And this match ended up with the heels winning as Rusev tapped out Dolph Ziggler. Match was okay. I don't know. That should be an interesting match to see if they actually have Rusev lose that US belt or not at Battleground. You gotta imagine that, you know, those guys might end up on different shows, so they're gonna say, okay, well, after the draft on tonight, whoever wins the belt is gonna be at that's where that show it's gonna be on. So certainly that seems like a thing that could happen. We get a video package, sort of, for Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar, which they are just not acknowledging that Lesnar might have been doping on UFC at all. But the New York State Athletic Commission has already said that wrestling is wrestling, and they don't license individual guys, so he is free to work SummerSlam, no big deal. So, SummerSlam it is. Anyway, we get a little package of John Cena at the ESPYs doing his thing. No mention of, at the ESPYs, there was an encounter between The Big Show and Shaq, teasing a Mania thing. No mention of that at all. What else? The Ascension still exist. I don't know why. They're just there. And then we get a little bit backstage with Mick Foley and Daniel Bryan, kind of teasing some tension and competition for their whole Raw and SmackDown and GM stuff, so that should be interesting. Blue Thunder Bomb, like, from Sami Zayn. Anyway, your main events. Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, the WWE Championship on the line. And all of your commissioners and GMs are at ringside to watch this match happen. Match was okay. Only thing notable here is that Dean Ambrose fucked up his little spin thing at ringside. That was funny. There was a ref bump near the end. There was a double pin. Whose shoulders were on the mat? Don't know. Stephanie announces that Rollins is the champ. Music plays. He's out celebrating. They never actually go and ask the ref who won. Like, ref's just kind of in the corner, like he's all of a sudden he's mute. He can't say who won. He like, that whole thing was dumb. Like, everyone's in the ring. No one else is going on. It's a complete clusterfuck. Now, clarification. Afterwards, on the network, they declared this match was a draw because both men's shoulders were on the mat, and that means that Dean Ambrose is still your world heavyweight champion going into Battleground this Sunday. Now, that could have been just if they had left it at where it was being contested. That it would have been a good way to have the belt get split up and have two belts moving into, you know, this draft and having to have a world champion for SmackDown. But they didn't do that. They said, oh, on the network, it's a draw. Dean Ambrose still champion, which means I still think they will have some kind of a double pin at Battleground and have that thing contested and have two champions for your two shows. But that remains to be seen. Anyway, this is a long video for a fine Tuesday at 5 p.m. If you want to know what's going on with SmackDown, that'll be up tomorrow at 5 p.m. And if you want to know what's going on with Here Comes the Pain, that'll be in about 5 hours from now at 10 p.m. Anyway, I'm attackslug trying to finish this video. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. I'm mumbling. I don't care anymore. It's like 10 in the morning. I'm tired. And I'll see you next time. And every day for more videos right here on this channel. And I'm out.